Welcome straight back into it, ladies and gents. It's been a long, fiery, hot night, and we see some fantastic action of PUBG. My name is Bogdan Bugikarp, and together with Jakub Lothar Szygulski, we're very happy to bring you the last match of GLL week number 2, season number 1, and it's going to be Miramar, of course.
Yep.
It's going to be a pretty spicy one. A lot of teams have a lot of leeway to go into that top 10 so that they don't get deranked for lobby number 2 or Bravo.
I'm really curious to see the results of that last game because they will mix up really the points that we have seen before. Grubby, I think, finishing in the top 8 or something like that.
No, they finished. Huh?
I think top 8, top 10 in this game. So they're going to be deranked from rank 1 into like rank 3 or 4. We'll see.
Have a look at the scores and we'll tell you exactly how they did. There you go. It's Crimson Esports. Oh, yeah, Grubby. Took some good points. They're very close to Crimson Esports on the first place. But yeah, Crimson coming in first, 886 points, but they did it through placement. Much better placement because they have only 32 kills compared to the 41 from Grubby. Well, only. Look at them.
Yeah.
They're dominating both of them. But still, Grubby coming in second because they didn't play so well last match. Crimson coming in with that chicken dinner third. It's going to be Lola Gaming. Limitless are on fourth and Force fifth. Teams that are close by their Method and Finstag. Look at how close they are to one another.
Yeah, but Exalt Gaming and House of Nobles are looking in a really bad spot and most likely will end up in the Bravo for the next week unless they're going to end up in the top 2 right now.
Yeah.
That can be the saving grace for them, but
Yeah.
other than that, the 8 teams that are on the lowest ranks in this week are gonna get demoted to the Bravo division next week, and 8 top teams from Bravo division this week, which is happening right now on twitch.tv, Global Loot League 2, are gonna advance to next week's Alpha. So this is gonna be important check for teams that are on the bottom 8 right now.
There you go. So that's the information that we have for you going on to the last match here. It's been quite an impressive run from all these teams. And we've seen a few of them that can't necessarily play as well as they normally do on Rangel. They don't necessarily play as well on Miramar. But other teams, I'm looking at Grubby, I'm looking at Crimson, they seem to have found some sort of a secret onto how to do it. Well, it looks like we're going to be good for the final one as well. What do you think that Crimson and Grubby have that teams, let's say, like Method, don't have tonight?
On Miramar,
Not Miramar specifically.
well, I think just by judging how the way Grubby plays in Crimson, they actually are super aggressive and just stay out in the open on the high ground, and just check all the angles, running kind of hectic in a hectic way all the time, and they're just taking fights.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. I have no clue why it does work, because it shouldn't, but in theory at least, right?
Yeah.
If you're just running out in the open, even like on a high
You
ground,
should get killed.
but you should get demolished at some
Yeah.
point. But somehow, Grubby doesn't get affected by it, you know. And I have an explanation for it. It's kind of an interesting situation to see, and I would really love to see if next week it's gonna work out as well for them, because they
Tell me.
will definitely will be in Alpha next week.
Sure. Tell me, what's the explanation?
Wha- wha-
Oh, you have no explanation. Okay,
No
fair enough.
explanation.
Sorry.
No
Yeah,
explanation.
yeah. My mistake there.
Just kind of a different strategy, and somehow
What
it works.
Yeah, what I think it is when you look at a circle, right? So you're placed here and you're trying to make your way inside the next one. You kind of have to make sure that you have that kind of like a rotating, like element, that little piece of the pie cleared up before you enter. And that's what these guys do. They take fights left and right to make sure that nobody's close to them, or if they are close to them, they either run or die. And then they safely enter to wherever they need to go.
Well,
I think that might be one of the elements. That's why their aggression pays off. And they also, when they do these pushes, they stick together so that reses happen, because they do get knocked out quite a lot. But because they're so close to one another and they're playing at least 2+2s, it works out in their favor, because they do the trades. And on Miramar, once you get knocked out, you're very likely to be under cover because there's so many divots, so many ridges. So because of that, the res is happening, and then they're back on their feet again. And that kind of tails into their initial looting, because your initial looting has to be quite powerful for you to be able to do that. You need a lot of heals, you need a good helmet, you need a good vest, and well, of course you can continue looting to your enemies, but a lot of the time you won't actually have a chance to loot as the circle strangles you, so you're just going to have to run into it. Anyway, here we go. Last match of the day, and indeed for GLL as well, because we're not doing any production. If you just tuned in, the NA teams are busy flying over to Europe, so there you go, to IEM Katowice. So we're just going to be doing EU. So it is indeed the last match of the day, and it will see us on a very, very fair playing trajectory, one that will allow teams mostly to go wherever they want, rotations, of course, with vehicles will be possible early on here. And one of the teams that I'm looking forward to seeing here is Method. I'm curious to see, are they going to change their pace? Are they going to go earlier into the circle as they do on a Angel? Are they going to stick together? Are they going to be less? Because I think the split is killing them right now.
Well, it all depends on
They
the
did
next
one by
circle,
one.
right?
Yeah, and the rotation kills them as well.
We played 2 Miramars so far, right? And the circle was almost identical, right?
Yeah.
So if the third circle will be again like that, it will be again and again and again the same scenario for teams like Kinguin, for teams like Method, for teams like Crimson, for teams like Hafu, right? All those teams that are just going for the north side. It's gonna be a, I mean, I'm not gonna say disaster, but it's gonna just be a little bit tougher for them to have a decent positioning into the rotations. So let's see how the circle will end up in about 30 seconds. But in the meantime, Kinguin Larsen this time is not being so far away from other people, but again, he's being shot at in the beginning of the game.
Oh, and here's a circle that will contain Method here, but this time around, Kinguin do make their way out. Anyway, I'm looking at team number 10. So we're looking at 4s right now. Previous game, they went to El Pozo. They were a bit of a thorn in the side of Havu Gaming. This time around, they take half of Chumatera, and they're going to be quite close by Vega Squadron here. They could avoid a fight if they should choose so. Go to Ladriera and try to escape that way. But yeah, it seems that 4s so far just haven't found their home.
But the problem is with that Trumatsera, buildings in general, the way the location is being built, there's no way of escaping the city without encountering each other. So it's going to be very difficult position for both of those teams to not lose their members. Either they will just lose like one member each and they will separate, or someone will just take the entire fight, but with casualties.
Casualties, yeah. They will most likely indeed happen. Now, let's see. Most of the teams that we're looking at here on the north side are going to be quite, hey, how's it going, guys? Most of the teams that are currently in this position here are going to be quite happy with a very easy entrance. Halv will have a very small entrance there. They can go to Crater Fields, or they can work on this angle, because they should know that not a lot of people went to this area here. There is one squad, of course. They're going to have to watch out for that one there. Good gents only, good people only. But there's a lot of teams. You can see right here, there's a very high concentration of teams. And they're all going to have to go kind of close to where Tinder Gould and Method currently are, which is not going to be an easy task. So, judging, let's say we're on Arangel for a second, and let's see this is team face, because this is where they loot around the Milta area. So, what they could do is rotate this side around. But because Miramar has different kind of positionings, they should know at this moment in time that Kinguin like to go Al-Azhar, although Kinguin should be leaving by that time. And also because it's super hard to navigate those roads for Alliance, for example. This might be the most likely trajectory in, which is not an easy task at all. As soon as you make it close to Hacienda, this area here, from here all the way here, right, this area, very, very open spot, very dangerous to cross. This cross right here can be very, very decimating for any teams coming in from this area, if and only if Tindergold and Method don't choose to reposition. But finally, we see what we're trying to look for, which is early rotations from Method. They're still split though, and I don't necessarily like that part from them. They're playing a 2+1+. Actually, they're playing a 1+1+1 right now. They probably found different vehicles, but at least they leave their looting grounds a bit earlier. It seems like they're not fully satisfied with what loot they had, so they're still going to be looking for stuff there. Leighton stopped by the compound there to loot, and AT is still doing his own little thing there. But I'm really looking forward to seeing Method kind of group up towards that position there. And I think that would really benefit them. Just kind of hold on close, because they have a powerful position as it is right now. They're already in a very good spot in the circle. So obviously, it would really be a shame if they didn't stick to that position altogether. Now,
I wouldn't be surprised actually if we would see Kinguin rotate to the north side of the circle already early on, because we can see there's a huge hill on the north side of that circle, and that is a good position for them to have an oversight. It's very similar to the position that they were taking on Erangel near the water, basically.
Yeah, true. That could be something that works out to them. Korean Pasca, though, comes dangerously close to one of the guys from Method to Leighton. Let's have a look in game and see how that one pans out. We'll come back to the weather if nothing happens there, but this might be a fight, because Leighton definitely heard the vehicle coming close to him. Let's see if it is a fight indeed.
Well, Leighton going to get Koya and Pasca, and he got him. Actually, it's Tartle with the knock. No, Leighton with the knock. But they had him in the crossfire, so now first death has arrived into
Alright.
the 5th round of Miramar.
Let's go back to the map. So, what do you do if you're Gujitsoli? If we zoom out a little bit, and then we go back to where these lads are right here. So they know already that this place has been taken. So they sent in the scout. It didn't pan out well enough for them. So what these guys can potentially do is, well, I suppose group up together at this moment in time and just kind of play a different place that's close by. Because you have these hills, you got some decent compounds there that you can hold as a trio. It's easier to hold. You got way different places. Now, coming back into the scout role, especially on Miramar, this is not necessarily the easiest task because the map is the way it is right now. Well, not right now, but the way it will always be. Sending a scout is a very costly and very time costly, let's say, thing, because if you have a bike or maybe even a buggy, you can send them in a bit faster than you would with other vehicles. But the role of the scout is to effectively rotate to an area fast enough that he doesn't get killed, which on Miramar isn't something that can happen because you're always going to be stopped by those divots and those ridges. So the role of the scout in this particular map is pretty much that one, to die early on, is my perspective. Perhaps Lothar, you have a different perspective on that.
Well, if it's a 2-man bike, I can handle,
Oh, let's go into that.
sending a scout, but it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough.
Absolutely. Let's go into the fight. See what's happening here.
54th with the knock early in the game. Horkan, though, he got damaged pretty heavily. So this is a angled fight between Forza and
Forza and the guys that were earlier on. No, actually, Vega Squadron, who went to Chimichurri before, but Forza didn't find a home for themselves. The Maxi Zor 54th. Ooh, Diaz. How did you find that shot against Maxi Zor? Is that a side flank coming in here? Yes, it kind of is. They have different places to peek in from. Horkan's going to be coming in from the side. That is going to be happening. Diaz makes his way. Top side, one shot. 54th goes down. Whew, that was clean, man. That looked cleaner than...
And with the suppressor.
Cleaner
Kinda
than
like
a
a
toothbrush.
really neat shot. And that's it. Vega Squadron gets absolutely crushed as the first team to die in the round 5. Now we see the order rotations
There you
happening from the south teams.
Exactly as we called it out. Let's look at the map here for a second, because this one's going to be a frag. So look at where Team Alliance are coming in from. Exactly on the road they were suggesting. Well, on the other road, but yeah. They had to rotate in a very kind of awkward angle, and when you keep onto the roads, yes, you can be fast with the vehicles, but at the same time, you can be glacked down quite easily. Most of the time in these matches.
I'm really interested to see if Kingwin actually will take the north side of the circle, because that's something that I would assume they're gonna do, judging by the play style.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe Miramar changes their approach.
Crimson's up there, isn't it? Yeah, Crimson actually haven't made their way. They're still in Campo Militar looting. Oh, it's just Paiba sent in as a scout. See, but there you go. The role of the scout is no longer good because he can hold off a compound, but he cannot carve a path anymore because his teammates are so far away. You cannot safely say, "Oh, there's a." You can make your way clearly here.
What
You
is
can't see
happening
that
here?
far
With
away.
rollers are just crossing the street
In a very, he's avoiding it.
horizontally. Basically.
Yeah, because he's avoiding that area that we were talking about earlier, which is close to Hacienda.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that
don't
firefight
know.
between Havu. That's like 600 meters. What is happening here?
Well, they're going to be happy to take the shot nonetheless. Not necessarily connecting, but they try it. Bikini model.
He actually got smashed.
That's a good spray there. Going to have to go for the bandage. This team is going to have to go for but oh my god, those are long range shots. With the AK-762 ammo, that distance, I don't think Jaworski can connect here. If he would, he would be an absolute legend. It's very all they're doing right now is just kind of wasting their ammo and perhaps wasting some resources of their enemies. But look at them, like 4 squad fucking.
Well, it's a
lined
firing
up.
range at this
Yeah,
point.
it's a firing range pretty much. Anyway, let's get back into it. There you go. Here come the teams. Kingwin did indeed go for the rotate a bit more on the northern side of the circle here, as Pybus is still holding that compound. It looks like Brooksy found some sort of an angle to work with. Actually, I like the way we're NLG are right now. They have a very powerful compound with 3D Butts and G-Tank approaching. They might have a very decent chance at this. We'll see. We'll find out.
Everyone is about those long range fights right now. which is something that, you know, just fits Miramar. A large, wide, open spaces for the 4 times and 8 times to be put into good use of. But it's not easy. It's not easy. All weapons in PUBG are projectile based, so you need to account for the bullet drop and the bullet travel time. So the further your opponent is, the harder it is to actually hit him. Look at what's happening with Mixie. I think he actually bugged out on our bike.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
It was actually a UAZ.
Bronco.
I mean, a truck.
Bronco, yeah.
So most likely what happened is that... most likely what happened, he
It
kind
looks like he's chilling. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just looking at the stars. What are you doing in your free time, bro?
I think he just flipped on something because his camera was going wild.
He flipped
Like
on
left, right, and he was like spinning on the top or
Yeah.
the bottom side of the
He looks so chill that he looks like he flipped on something green, if you know what I mean.
green like smoke grenade.
Yeah, like smoke. Grenade.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
It's a little smoke.
Copenhagen and Flames playing the edge. They're going to be waiting for the rest of their team to connect. Again, that's a very dangerous area where they're about to be headed, so they need a full squad to do just that. Next circle reveals itself, and it's actually a powerful circle for some teams, not all of them. King are going to have to make their way in, but they're kind of good, okay, where they are. Tinder Gold, they're taking some shots at Method, trying to clear a path as they will try to come in later on. But it doesn't necessarily seem that that's the way to go. La Cobreria not taken so far. And again, this is because teams avoid places where they can be surprised. Here comes the Finstack boys. Yerpsi Zulu Siaka and Timizi driving around close to some enemies here. And I don't necessarily think that they might avoid this one. House and Nobles might go in for some shots. So far, they're being quiet, though.
Might be a little bit intimidated by the quality of enemies in Alpha Division, right? This is the first time, if I'm not mistaken, for House of Nobles to actually play in that
Yeah.
in that type of competitive setting.
It is. Congratulations, by the way, to Copenhagen Flames, Finstack, Forest, Great People Only, Havu Gaming, House of Nobles, Nolu Gaming, and Team Limitless. All these teams coming from Bravo, and they're putting a good effort. Most of them.
Yeah.
Most of them are. Well, some of them are. Ooh, dear.
I think he lost a tire,
Did
and
he?
that's the reason why he flipped like that with the buggy.
Mm-hmm. He's going to be heading away from that position. See how dangerous this spot is. Just east of oh, Cup of Magic. Is that going to be another buggy that loses a tire? Nope. That one's going to be happier. Well, I see that.
Man, I would really love to see already like an updated spectator mode because we can't really appreciate the marksmanships of those players.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't really see like if you're new to watching PUBG, the way we see the crosshair placement and movement
It's a bit
of
previous.
players is really like delayed.
A few milliseconds previous to where it should be, but it is much better than.
Yeah, it
There's
is
a
better
bit
than
room.
it was, but it's
There's
still
still room, yeah.
way
There's still room.
way.
Oh. But Jamai not
to
a
be
caught
improved.
alone. Let's have a look at Grubby. Let's have a look at the map here. Where did Grubby? How are they not sticking together? So there's Snoopy.
Shade is here. Just look alone, and Snoopy is north of him.
See, this is the narrative again and again and again. You split up, you're gonna die. I don't know why these teams are playing so split up. Like it just seems like okay, now we're gonna be the team that splits up. Oh shit! As a lonesome member, he takes the shots, he connects, but now he puts himself in a dire spot. He's gonna be in a crossfire. And Slim, as soon as he turns around on that top hill, there is not going to be too many chances for Shade to stay alive. Ooh, he needs cover and he needs it fast. Shade just wants to get the kill. But will that be enough? He steals the bike. And that's a smart thing to do. That might be his exit. Oh, Slim is now able to see him, but is he though? A bit too late there. Shade is taking damage. Oh, and he goes down as well at the hands of Slim. The revenge kill happens. And it's beautiful.
Slim with some really slim shots. Like
With some shady shots.
yeah, I mean
Get it?
honestly, they
Slim
were
shady.
really spot on to hit a bike in movement, while movement. Like
While
I
moving,
think
yeah.
5 shots have to be connected to actually manage to get a knock. And but
Leighton.
here Leighton getting knocked
Getting
by
laid on.
Cloudtail. Unlucky.
There you go. Cloudtail comes in with the frag there. Leighton getting laid down by Cloud and his team. So that's a bummer for Method losing one member. And why did it happen?
Because they split.
There you go.
Yep.
Not good to do. Sunbird now will take some shots just to be able to res his fallen teammate here. But can he do that safely? No. Some shots come in from afar. You're going to have to make a move for it. It looks like Finstack just want to get that frag. No, it's actually Alliance. It was VZ taking those shots. No, it was Finsec trying to steal the frag, but it didn't happen. Anyway, circle strangling in here. Most of the teams have made their way somewhat in the circle. Still someone's one on the outside on the west side there. Halvo taking now shots. Enemies close to their east.
He doesn't really mind.
Halvo again in Forest. Look at this. Halvo and Forest seem to be a storyline that keeps repeating itself. Somehow Forest make their way towards Halvo, and usually Halvo come out on top. Let's see if this is the case so far here. Because FaZe might join the fun from the behind. Ah, there you go. So Forest just gave away their position, taking some shots at Fuzzface, who is
How
still
did he
alive
survive?
somehow.
What?
Jumped out of the car at the very last second, but Diaz spots him and takes him down. But this gives away their spot, and I don't really mind. He's already on the rotate here, waiting for them to peek.
Well, he heard like at least two people shooting at FaZe.
The nade, though. The nade goes in. Oh, it's
A
a
little
bit
bit
too
too
deep.
far.
Yeah, it's a bit too deep. Diaz doesn't seem to want to move. But Hollo's already on the rotate there. Hollow's whipped out. Josie's going to try to connect. Not a lot, though, happens. Diaz healing with bandages tells us that he doesn't necessarily have first
They
aid kit.
answer back with artillery.
When is it going to happen? The heavy nades come in. Hollow don't seem to be too impressed. They're leaving this battle as it is. Forest know that they've cleared that spot with those nades, so they might make a push for it. But now, Havu have the circle. So Forest are going to have to find a new way to enter it. House of Nobles here, putting in some good shots themselves. We'll have a look at that one there.
We'll still watch Havu having the fight with Forza, and I feel like that's one of the crucial points of the map, since if someone who takes that spot, they will have the high ground advantage over the other teams.
How close is Turtle now to his enemies? What is going on there? Is that an enemy close to Turtle?
I think they're in the same compound.
Yeah, they might be indeed. We'll have a look at that one later on as Force and Havu have a battle here on out. Bikini Model with the 4X on top of his M16. He'll try to find the shots. Oh, gets dinked down so low. Bikini
No
Model has
Kevlar
to go
for
the
him
first
as
aid.
well.
Yeah, that is dire. Havu in a dire spot.
Now
Can they
every
hold
single
off?
weapon is just deadly.
And they don't know that the push is starting now. Look at the way Force are moving in against the one guy that they know is weak.
Now he hurts him. Yep. Lack of Kevlar makes you lose duels like that.
That is so unfortunate. Now Havu going to have to play his twos. Can they make this one have? They got a good compound to peek out from. They
So
know
that's
that their
actually a
enemies are coming.
fantastic compound to have, a fight
Loot.
for him.
Mm-hmm. It's a loot
Yes.
miracle. That's what it is. Looting miracle. Now Havu again in a dire spot in a 2v3 situation. We'll go back to their situation soon. In the meantime, Viglur trying to make their way. Tindergold trying to make their way towards Crimson. Not going to be an easy task, but they can have some ridges to work with there. There goes Method, sharing places with Brooksy.
Brooksy far away from home because usually he's landing on the islands outside of the island in general.
Yes, indeed. Rolls it way too far for him to help him out. So let's go back to this fight with Havu and Forrest, who want to finish this one off. They're just jumping around here. They don't know where the rest of Havu are, but they kind of have an idea. Here comes the shot from Jorski. Now they know. One connect rather. So it's not going to be too brutalized by that one.
Yeah, the problem is the M4, even if it hits, like, the
Oi!
damage is not that high unless it's a headshot like this one.
And blows off your helmet.
I think he didn't even have a helmet. Oh no, wait, he would have to be knocked then.
Yeah, he did have a level. Well, no, actually not anymore, because the 5.56 doesn't knock you out one shot after a certain distance anymore.
Well, it's like around 100 meters.
Around 100 meters. I think that's where it stops being effective.
Oh, too bad.
Rep GG. Interesting adjustment. Makes you have to play a bit smarter. But there you go. Havu's still in this bad spot here. Forrest seem to want to take a side flank. At least Diaz does. And as that happens, Jursky eats up by a ton of damage here. Doesn't
That
have
was
a helmet.
headshot.
That was a headshot, and it
Yeah.
didn't cause a death. Just to further strengthen the point. Diaz still on the side flank here. This is very dangerous for Havu at the moment. So Dovney tries to make his way from a different perspective. Diaz is going to be following into the compound here. Does not spot his enemy, so he plays this one safely. But they're getting peppered in from a different direction. So Force needs to make a move out. This is the time for Havu to actually have a bit of a breather. And they've got the circuit as well. Diaz finds a spot at the minute, but it's not going to be a spot that's safe for too long. How do Force want to crack this nut?
With a nutcracker, I guess.
Well, indeed.
What is happening here? Crimson just putting down an insane amount of fire.
They took down. Oh, yeah, that's not bad. A long
Up here
distance.
getting getting necked. Getting knocked
Get nicked.
in the neck. Straight in the neck.
There you go. NLG.
I think that was the last member of Grubby that just died. So Grubby getting knocked as the 17th team in round 5.
How are going to try to make an exit for it? They're grouping up. Are they going to make an exit to their south? Well, they're sure the attempting to. Diaz is not actually looking. Now he peeks out. He spots I don't really mind. He waits to take the shots. He finally does. Does not necessarily connect that well. So now that he does just that, he knows he can rotate safely because he saw both of the players there.
Goes to his teammate. He knows he's safe now. But still, the rotation will have to come in. The circle is moving. And Sadovnik was left behind as a surprise for Havu. That's a really smart move if they have this planned out.
It
Because
is.
Havu will have to move out.
It
And
is.
Sadovnik will be just on their backs, killing them and taking the loot.
And he hears them leave as well. So that's that. Like Havu, or like their position is literally known on the stage. Here comes the first shot, first knockout from Sadovnik. Doesn't even bite the blue. He's ground where he is. Jorsty's gonna have to run all the way away from this one, tanking the blue himself.
And it's a lot of damage right now.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is indeed. Sadovnik does not know that Jorsky left, so he's still going to be quite close in his approach. His teammates, in the meantime, have made spot in. So we're going to be looking at another fight here. Kingwin losing a member. That has been unfortunate. Eric as well getting knocked out by Crimson. Wow, from where? That is sickening. He was almost behind cover. And here comes Jambawa as well, pushing it to up you. That is not an easy time for Royal Banditos right now, man. Oof.
Yep.
Very difficult.
Can we take a look at Method and Brooksy? What the hell are they doing in that compound right now?
Oh, that's what they're doing. Brooksy didn't just...
He just
He's afraid to...
he just sits there.
He's afraid to let out a fart, man.
Yep.
Pardon my French, but that's what it is.
He knows that someone is with him.
But
'cause
this
he knows
church,
it-
you can climb on this church. That's the thing. You can climb on the
Well,
rooftop.
he can't really move, right?
No, not him. I mean, Method could climb and easily spot him.
I don't think Method would like to just go
'Cause they wanna
into
be
a tower
seen.
because first of all you're getting line of sight to a lot of people, and second of all it's kind of hard to escape from that, right? Because if your opponent knows that you're in a tower and you jump down from it, there's only like few places you can go from there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in the meantime,
Especially when they're playing
Crimson.
S2s.
yeah, Crimson taking the highest spot on the map right now, having good positioning, having a large scouting area.
Oh, Zulu could actually be a very, very bad thorn in the side of Kingwin. Let's go back into that one. Let's go into Zulu making a push here. He gets Mirka down. And killed.
The blue is on his back as well. He's getting tagged right now. Some damage coming in, but it's not that high yet. But it's gonna be high
It's
in
decent.
just few seconds because it's gonna get upgraded in damage, and that
heal,
will
my friend.
change into. Look at this! Look at this damage right now, racking up.
That's a heck of a ton of damage. He makes it and just barely so prones in,
But
goes for
such
the
a
first
bad
aid kit.
situation, such a bad positioning.
Yeah, it is. But he kind of found his opening. He kind of needed to take Mirka down, so for him to actually make that opening happen. Let's see what happens
Andy
here.
taking the vehicle to move out of the compound. Boltzmann just being next to him. Oh no, what's happening here?
Easy task to take him out, and that he does indeed, Andy. Don't drink and drive. That's what happens to you.
So, what
Now
was
his
Andy
teammate
doing?
Turtle is
Did
alone.
he just want to park it in the wall?
Maybe he was checking the map. Perhaps.
Damn,
Or
that
it's
was
cracked.
unlucky. If that was happening, if he was checking the map,
Oh, I think he might have bugged out in those graves. It could have bugged out in those graves to not allow him to properly steer. We'll find out later on. In the meantime, Chris is still looking strong, and all that remains from Kingwin right now is just Vard, Lore, or Alex, whatever you want to call him. It's just one guy, not three. And, yeah, there you go.
well, look at that. We have actually 26
Push
people
happening.
and 13 team alive.
Yeah,
That is crazy. That's
that is
like
good for Crimson.
average 2.
That is good for Crimson right now. If you're Crimson, you're going to be quite happy with that one.
Sadovnik getting knocked from Forza. And he's getting killed.
Pybus needs to be careful as well with this HP. It's not going to be him peeking in. It's going to be
Ooh.
Jambawi that takes some damage. Vard
Ha-
playing the bush here, not spotted yet. Oh, Vard takes after his father, Larson.
The
And
Bushman.
The Bushman, yes, indeed. Bushman will be just A-OK.
But he has no crossbow.
Yes, indeed. He is no Bush Wookie. Not an original one. Vard knows that his enemies are actually keeping him safe. So he comes a bit closer to them.
An
he also has
enemy
good
of
cover.
my enemy is my friend.
There you go.
So basically, he's taking advantage of someone else's fight.
Well, until they see me. And there you go. That's got to be unfortunate if they do. Jorski, in the meantime, still alive. Good for him. Okay, so now he made it closer to another team here. Wherever he goes, this guy doesn't have an easy task. So let's see what great people only can find as a resolve here. Are they going to stop Jorski, or are they going to down Forrest, who have been dominating Halva so far? Well, not dominating, only on this match. This round, rather, should we say.
Look at the amount of teams with one member. 7 teams.
NLG looking good. Crimson looking good. This might be a fight between themselves. Vard, can Vard find something here? He does find something here, but he dies down in the meantime. NLG taking the shots. Finstag not going to be happy. Brooksy as well, trying to make his way in there. Limitless. Not a lot of Finns left in this area.
Hexetti with the damage from the blue zone. That was a little bit heavy, but he now finds a good place to hide
It's actually
and
perfect.
heal. Outsider, No Loot Gaming taking a lot of shots from different angles, but they're setting up the dominance right now on the map with 4 members alive. And Crimson on the other side of the circle, not really caring about that fight on the other side. Ooh, look at that No Loot Gaming with the perfect circle for them.
No, Loot Gaming have a very decent chance. Haxedi also has a decent chance, but needs to make a move now because the teams are going to be hugging the blue quite soon. I was taking some shots long and far. They need to clear the angle before they go into that circle. So that's what they're doing here right now. Shots come in from Turtle. From Turtle or from Brooksy? Yeah, there you go, Brooksy.
Well,
He denied the kill, basically. That's what he did.
annoying for his opponents, right?
Yeah. A bit of a meme there. Oh, nice shots connect indeed. Turtle also eliminated by 3T butts, so NLG actually helping out Crimson, who now could have a potentially easier chance, but they still have alliance in between these two teams. There's still alliance. Just sandwiched in. 7
Blair
teams.
sitting alone. Man, this is such a tough moment for all of those single players. They're just praying no one can see me. I'm not gonna take a shot. I'm just gonna wait out and clear up the air. After some teams, we're gonna take some casualties.
Now, great people only have 3 members, and they haven't actually shown themselves. They play a very passive game, and that's not what you do in this open area. You take fights before you need to take those fights. You open up the area where you need to go before you have to do it, and there goes Diaz that ties down for Force. That means that there's 1 guy left, and that one's going to be down as well by the plays on Horkin. Indeed gone. Vigler coming up close to Crimson. He's holding off to that angle there. Not going to be firing his shot. Just trying to make his way in as Crimson actually clear a path for him. However, here comes the lads. Great people only. Perhaps passive. 2 passive people only. They're going to be pinned down by Crimson. I don't think Crimson are going to let them come out at all. Vigler just looks at this all happen. If we spec to the left of MBS right now. There he is, just prone in there, sneaking around.
And he's moving a little bit, so
Oh, yeah.
any moment NBS can spot him.
At any moment in time. Hello tries to take the bike and make his way in. A sliver of life left. Can he do it? Oh, he can't. Jambawi takes him out last second. It's unfortunate. Vigler in the meantime, being the sneaky snack he is. Oh, he comes in close. This could be Crimson losing 2 guys. If they're
Or
not
even
careful.
the entire team, if they're not gonna be.
Why would they check this? Because they came from this kind of area.
Yeah,
They
this
have
is
no
exactly the road they were coming from.
Exactly. They have no reason to check it. And as Vigler makes his way, he's not going to be firing any shots. He leaves Crimson do their dirty deed because Crimson are helping him out tremendously right now. They're knocking out everybody that could knock him out. If he starts a fight now, then everybody's going to be focused onto this one. But he kind of has to because the circle has indeed strangled him. First one knocked, second one as well. The third one follows soon.
No,
But it's
so
not going to happen.
close.
Oh my God, MBS finally puts him down. And what a menace, Vigler, to dink down the chances of Crimson to get a chicken dinner from a full squad to 1 dying lad in a matter of seconds.
Well, he
Wow.
did get 2 kills out of it because unfortunately the 3rd kill did get counted for the play zone. But what a spray. If only he would manage to get that 4th kill, that would have been amazing.
That is so good for NLG right now, who are going to make their way safely into the circle. And all they have to do is dig down one after another. Fever dies down. There's going to be, another guy from Alliance left, and that's it. That's 3 teams left. So it's just going to be NBS himself, 1 guy from Alliance, and pretty much the entirety of No Loot Gaming. Wow. this is their game turned into a second, because Crimson could have been really, really hard on them. Where MBS right now, if they were a full squad, they would have stopped NLG from entering this circle now. But because there's just one guy left, he's got no chance to do anything.
Yeah, Vigler just stopped Crimson from winning the game, basically.
Basically, yeah. No chicken dinner for them. That was a denying. But still, Crimson are doing pretty good in their placement, so I think they're still going to come out on top. We'll see. We'll see how it pans out. I'm pretty sure they will. Anyway.
Maximum boost for...
That's what you call a thorn.
Free bots. Free T-bots. Free T-bits.
What?
Well,
sounded Russian. Short
that nade
Canadian.
is actually not bad. A little bit short, but still was a good try.
Value enough, yeah. Nice try.
I think it was maximum 80 meters. Kind of looked like that.
Oh, that's the max distance, isn't it? 32 butts now. Switching to the red dot. Hoping that MBS speaks out, and he has to kind of.
Well, he did get
down.
Yeah. D-Tank got knocked.
You know, here's what MBS is doing. He's putting himself in 1v1 situations. Meter dies down at the meantime, so it's just going to be MBS versus 3 guys. So what MBS is doing, he's putting himself in 1v1 situations. As soon as he sees one enemy, he's not going to be past that. Outsider knocked out as well. No way does MBS turn this around. No freaking way.
I'm really surprised they're not pushing him in this situation, like from in the past, because
he's got that ridge. Why would they push?
Had a really good way of approaching him, but now it's kind of lost.
No way! Another knockout happens. MBS in a 1v1 situation with a sliver of life left, but Jansen turns it around. Oh my God!
Jansen with the clutch again.
Closer.
This is a second win for No Loot Gaming as well. Jansen finishes the game second time with the last kill.
What a closer to finish GLL. A turnaround on Crimson, and almost Crimson turning it back around as well in the hands of MBS. Sexy stuff. Really, really beautiful. So let's have a look at Pybus plus MBS. That's 11, 13, 14 kills. That's not a bad ending to this night.
And look at Vigler with those 3 kills. Although
how important were they? Those 3 kills.
Kind of important, I would say. I mean, for Tentacle, that is actually like super important to jump into that positioning, because if I'm not mistaken, they were like in the middle of the pack when it comes to the results. This was the 5th map today for EU. Just to remind you guys, today we don't have NA since teams are traveling for the IEM competition. We're going to have that production on 6th of March, but we're going to see the results from the entire week of EU, and after that we're gonna have to see who is advancing from the Bravo, as the top 8 teams from Bravo will advance for the next week Alpha, and we'll have to see who is being demoted from the bottom 8 of Alpha and is getting kicked out to Bravo for the next week.
I don't know if we have the results actually from
Well, we're gonna have it after like replays or something, right?
Yeah, probably from Lobby Bravo. We'll find out in a few minutes. Anyway, guys, it's been really, really great, but we're not stopping the stream. So you mentioned that we're going to show you the NA production on the 6th. So that's a Tuesday, right? So we're going to do the NA production a day before we have our normal show. And then when the next day, we're going to have the normal show, of course, on the 7th as well. So that's how we're kind of finding an adjustment, because what are we going to do and not play the games at all? Like, that match has to be played out. Those points have to be distributed.
Of course.
Because these 2 lobbies are going to combine.
Yep.
And they're going to meet up at a LAN event to fight off for $50,000. So that's
we didn't say who is advancing to the LAN, because after the entire competition of the entire season, we're gonna have the conclusion of both regions, and top 8 from both lobbies will advance into the LAN finals happening in Bucharest sometime in April.
Yeah, sometime in April. Yeah, whether it's going to be the 22nd, we're still deciding on that time. Perhaps earlier, perhaps later. We'll find out closer to the time of the event there. But yeah, it's not going to be bad at all, is it? We have some highlights to show you guys. Let's have a look at the first one here. So, Diaz coming in here with a sick, clean one-tap.
The one-tap.
Sickening.
Pew. And here we have Shade from Grubby with the fantastic knock.
This was, like, for a moment, it looked like, okay, this is dumb. He just barely signed his death warrant here.
But then he took the bike and just tried to drive away, right? But unfortunately didn't work out, because he was absolutely smashed by Slim.
There you go. Look at the graves. The graves. Yep, he slid on those graves, dude. It's legit. Oh, that is such a poetic kind of death as well. He slid on those graves to his grave.
I think that was on the cross, actually.
There you go. Should probably go more to church, Andy. Vigler as well with this insane triple. Also, Tank in the blue. That spray transfer, you don't even see that in CSGO, man. That was
I would really love to see his POV because it looked like he missed like the first 5 shots. I'm judging that, you know, it's spectator mode, right? But it kind of looked like there was no blood splatter, you know, until
yeah.
like the 4th or 5th bullet. That means it maybe, if that's the case, and he would have hit those 5 in the first, you know, burst, then maybe he would have taken the entire squad. But still, fantastic job. 3 knocks out of that.
I think it's accounted for, even if you don't see the blood splatter. I think it's still accounted for.
Who knows?
When he takes those shots. Yeah. Real sexy stuff for Glory. Super impressive. You're pretty much the MVP of the evening when it comes to plays. Papa's MVP prize goes to you. Lothar's MVP prize goes to you.
Handshake from the CEO.
Handshake from the... Yeah, there you go. Simon's going to send you out some pizza with bananas on top. That kind of sort of good stuff coming in from Sweden. No, they actually have very good... We had, what was it called? Kebab roulette? Or kebab?
What?
Kebab pizza. It was not bad, man. I like that from Sweden. That is one thing I will take home.
Pizza is basically made for...
Pizza's basically a kebab.
made for everything.
Yeah.
Right? You can just put anything on it and it's still pizza.
So
and
you would eat the banana one?
I never ate a pizza with an egg as well, because that's not my thing. But, you know, a good pizza is like... It's like sex. Even a bad pizza is good, because it's just... You know. Anyway, we're going to have results in like 1 minute or 2. So.
Yes, we will. Thank you for sticking around, guys. We'll find out if your favorite team has indeed managed to secure the chance to stay in the Alpha lobby or not. Of course, if you just tuned in here, it's the Alpha plus Bravo bottom 8 from Alpha will move in the next week in Lobby Bravo, whilst the top 8 from Lobby Bravo will move in at the bottom 8. Well, not the bottom 8, but will move in into Alpha. And
I'm really curious about
half
Method
points
right now.
Yeah, that's one of the teams, because they were literally on the very edge right there.
Yeah, they were on the edge, so it all depends if the teams that were behind them in points,
I think
did they
placement is...
leaped over them or not, right?
Because it was Limitless close to them, wasn't it? Or it was a Finstack?
I think Limitless was actually over them.
So it was Finstock. It was the other Finnish team.
But it's still, you know...
And Finstack actually did good. They kind of went the same placement. I can't see it from here, but I think they went the same placement. So we have... Okay, we have the stats. We have the scores calculated. Let's have a look at them. No need for guessing. So, indeed. Okay, let's have a look-see and see.
Whoa, that is close for Method. Look at that.
Whoa. 6 points of a difference.
And he...
those 2 frags pulled him through. One of those 2 frags pulled him through, man.
Basically 1 frag, right?
Basically 1 frag, yeah. Less, right?
Yeah, less than 1 frag pulled them into the next week's Alpha. And that means that the 8 points from that kill is actually worth probably like around 150, because they will earn 100% of the points next week. So, woo! Really close for Method. So all the teams, let's say the bottom 8, Alliance, Copenhagen Flames, Tyndagold, Vega Squadron, Team Kinguin, Havo Gaming, House of Nobles, and Exalt Gaming all will get knocked to the next week Bravo division. At the same time, congrats to Crimson Esports. They get 1,158 points in the qualification.
With an average of 9.2 kills per match.
That is incredible.
We have top teams in the world. It's not easy to find 10 kills per match.
Fantastic result from Crimson. Oh, here we go. That's top result from Bravo as well.
So let's see the top teams.
Knights with 409 points over Quickmav with 401 are taking the first and the second place. Rogue, so the old Station Mike, are getting really good results as well. Katana team, Lumbermill, M19, Team Vitality, and the Husaria team, so the Polish team,
the Polish lads we were talking about,
are advancing into Alpha next week.
And you can see here, we're going to have a look at the first one in just a second in Lobby Alpha. But you can see the points from the top, let's say the top 3. So, to see the number 1 placement, 409 points. All right, now let's go back to Alpha, please. So 409 points, remember, that's the same as getting number 8 in Lobby Alpha. So that's why you want to be in this one, because the points are not half. They're so much more powerful. They're so much more powerful here. So
I mean,
it's much easier to finish 8 than it is to finish first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
In theory, Bravo division
good guys don't finish first.
Has weaker quote-unquote teams, right? That's why you get less points for it. But at the same time, you have incentive to get into Alpha, right? So it's way worth more. It's worth way more points for Alpha. And that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
We're going to see how it works out at the end of the season. But an example here, we have seen the first team, the Knights from Bravo, taking 409 points, right? So that will be 818 in Alpha for the same, which will be the third place actually this week since Crimson was going
1,000 something.
all over the place, right? And the second place was like 968 or something like that. So it's still kind of crazy. Results over 1K is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah,
So it's interesting to see all those teams getting all those points. I mean, this is the second week. We're gonna get we're gonna accumulate all the points from every single week, and then the top 8 after. Is it 5 weeks of competition?
I think so, yeah.
I think after 5 weeks of competition, we're going to have the top 8 from each lobby, and they're going to go into the LAN in Bucharest.
There you go. So that's what they're all fighting for. And that's what we're all going to be watching them fighting for, indeed. Every single week. Well, with the exception of ones that we have LAN tournaments and whatnot. But every single week, other than that, we will be very happy to open the doors every single time. The GLL season number 1. And it's been a pleasure today as well. For you, has been Bogdan Bogikarp and Jakub Lothar Shugulski. We'll wish you a very, very good night and a fantastic week indeed. We'll see you guys on the next one.